Hey, welcome back everyone. It's time for your favorite part of the week, my recap videos. It's been a while since I did one. I've got a lot of texts, emails, calls, tweets from all of you wondering where the videos are, why I'm not making any. And, usually I stop making videos after week 4 because my team sucks. I just don't have anything to do with fantasy football anymore. And I thought that's the reason I stop every year, but apparently it's not, because this year my team was pretty solid all year and I still stopped. Many of you wondering why would he stop if his team's doing so well? Wouldn't he want to brag about his team in front of everyone? Especially with that video he filmed in Vegas that had over 1,000 YouTube videos, is now over 1,500 hits on YouTube now. After that video, why wouldn't he just keep going with all the fame, popularity, the viralness of his segments? Why wouldn't he just keep that momentum going, keep churning videos? Well, guys, the reason is it's really hard to come back from a video like that. I mean, once you make your best video ever, everything else is just downhill. So it just really wasn't worth it. It was hard to even set my lineup, knowing that I might have to make another video again. So that's the reason I haven't done it. We do have some pretty intriguing matchups this week, though, so I figured it was time to come out of video retirement and make another video. So we had a fun season. Some interesting things happened throughout the year. Some surprising teams are in the playoffs. Some teams who usually make the playoffs aren't in the playoffs this year. We have a new person who's going to win the Trevor Kelly Memorial Award and be banned from the league. Emilio Diaz will be coming back next year. So let's do a quick recap of some of the highlights of this year, shall we? Kyle Steinfeld won the Bad Beat jackpot. He won $300. By the way, I did almost come out of video retirement earlier. What I did is I said, hey, how do I make another video that's going to get over 1,000 hits on YouTube? What I did is I went back and I looked at all my previous videos and saw the ones with the highest ratings. And of course, Kyle Steinfeld was a special guest in those videos. So I met up with Kyle. He was on the list. He had put his name on the list of wanting to be in a video about 18 months ago. So he was up for a video opportunity, and we went to a Ducks game, and we got pretty sloshed beforehand, sitting on the front row. This is literally 2 days after he won the Bad Beat jackpot, which is why I'm telling the story. He won his $300 on Monday actually. Very next day, Tuesday, the Ducks are playing San Jose, so we go to the game, have every intention of coming out of video retirement, filming a video, and halfway through the game my phone dies. I had filmed some video and my phone just died. I wasn't able to film anymore, and I just didn't feel like uploading what we had, and Kyle, I think, was too drunk to use his phone to film the video. So we were planning on filming that video. Never happened. Just know that it probably would have been really, really, really funny. But anyways, Kyle won that first ever Bad Beat jackpot. He can thank Joe Gianosa for coming up with that idea. Joe Gianosa, who typically does well in fantasy football, is not going to the playoffs this year. I think this might be the first year he's ever missed the playoffs in our league. Omar Varay will be the new caboose. He will be banned effective immediately after this next game. He will serve a 1-year ban in our league, and next year Emilio Diaz will be welcomed back. Robert Gonzalez, of course, is looking to complete the Emilio Slam. The last 2 years, whoever won the March Madness pool also went on to win the Fantasy Football Championship that same year. Emilio did it back in 2014, and of course Jose Moreno did it last year. Robert Gonzalez won the March Madness pool this year and has had a pretty solid team, has been in first place for most of the year, so he's looking to pull off the 3rd straight Emilio Slam. Speaking of last year's champ, Jose Moreno had a horrible season, not even close to making the playoffs. He's probably sitting at home right now in his embroidered Mark Ingram jersey. Of course, whoever wins the league this year, just a reminder, you get to pick a free jersey of anyone on your team, and we will embroider the FFL347 Champions patch in the upper shoulder area, just like we did for Jose Moreno last year. If you want to follow the trend, follow suit, and do what Jose did last year, you'll want to pick the absolute gayest player on your team. And also pick the worst color jersey that player has. And pick that one, and then we'll embroider that one for you if you want to follow what Jose Moreno did with the black Mark Ingram jersey last year. Some other notable things that happened this year. Ryan Glazer started the season 0-3 and is now one of the best teams in the league. He lost those first 3 matchups by not many points each time, and it seemed like every time he was the 3rd highest scoring team in the league. He just happened to play the 1st or 2nd highest scoring teams in the league that specific week for the first 3 weeks. So no bad beat jackpot for Ryan, and he started 0-3, but his team is good enough to now be in a spot to make the playoffs. So let's go into the flex scheduling. There's some huge playoff implications this week. Let's start with the losers division. The division who had the absolute worst players, unfortunately has to put a team into the playoffs the way the rules work. So the AFC fans division, which of course is filled with AFC fans. Kyle likes the Steelers, Michelle likes the Jaguars, Omar likes the Tennessee Titans, and Lucas, we put you in that division because you didn't fit in the Cowboys 49ers fans division. You also didn't fit in the NFC North division. Plus, you don't even really have a favorite team. Now you say the Seattle Seahawks are your favorite team. Well, guess what? The Seattle Seahawks are originally an AFC team. I bet you didn't even know that because you're not a real fan. So that's why I put you appropriately in the AFC fans division. So, by the way, Lucas, your team sucked. By the way, if you want to know something funny I did that probably no one noticed, I posted a poll a few weeks ago on our Facebook page. I said, what channel do you use to watch your pregame show before the NFL games on Sunday? Fox, CBS, NFL Network, ESPN, blah, blah. One of the options was, I'm Lucas. I don't watch NFL games, let alone pregame shows. And Lucas didn't even see that option. He clicked the other option that says, I don't even watch NFL pregame shows. He didn't see, I had already knew he was going to say that, and I had pre-trolled him. He did see that later on. I don't know if someone pointed that out to him or if he just went back and looked. But that's probably the funniest thing I did all season. So Kyle Steinfeld and Michelle Hunger will face off in the Flex Week. Winner essentially take all type matchup as Michelle's 1 game back. So here's how this works. And this game is pretty much just a formality because Kyle has pretty much already won this division. But we still got to go through the motions. Kyle is 1 game ahead of Michelle for the division. They will play each other. If Kyle wins, he wins the division. If Michelle wins, Michelle and Kyle will be tied for the best record in the division. So we'll go to the first tiebreaker, which is head-to-head matchup. So Kyle beat Michelle earlier in the season, but if Michelle wins this week, of course, the season series will be tied 1-1. So we'll go to the next tiebreaker, which is total points scored, and of course, Kyle has Michelle's outscored by about 165 points, I think is what I saw. 107 points. 107 points. So, or is that 167? That might be 167. Can't read my handwriting, but I believe it is 167. So, Michelle, you would need to score like 267 points and hope Kyle only scores 100 points to overtake him. So, you do have a chance. You're mathematically still alive, but we're just going to go ahead and say Kyle is going to win that division. And Kyle will go into the playoffs as the number 3 seed. So Kyle has pretty much wrapped up the number 3 seed. He will be the worst of the 3 division teams record-wise. We go over to the Cowboys and 49ers fans division. This was by far the best division in the league. 4 good, solid teams. As of last week, all 4 teams were alive to make the playoffs. Robert has won that division. He's got a 2-game lead with 1 game to go, so he has already clinched. He's the first and only person to clinch so far, and he will go into the playoffs as either the 1 or the 2 seed, but I know he does not want to be the number 1 seed, so he's going to bench most of his players the last week, and he will go into the playoffs as the 2 seed. So Robert will host Kyle in the first round of the playoffs. Now let's take a look, see who's going to get the number 1 and the number 4 seeds. In the matchup of the week, Ryan Glazer, who started off 0-3, will play Jamison Jones. Get this, guys. These are the 2 arguably the two best teams in the league, two highest scoring teams in the league, and the implications of this one matchup are huge. The winner of this game will be the number 1 seed. The loser of this game will probably not even make the playoffs. That's how big of a game this is. You're either going to be number 1, or you're going to finish as a number 5 seed and not even make the playoffs. Here's why. They have the same record. So throw out points, throw out head-to-head matchup, because whoever wins is going to have a 1-game better record than the other team, and he will win the division. Unless, of course, they tie, then head-to-head matchup would come into play. Ryan would be 1-0-1 against Jameson, so if there is a tie, Ryan wins the division. Otherwise, whoever wins this game wins the division. The loser will fall to six. I'm sorry, my math is off. I forgot what the records are. I believe, let's see, we've played 11 games, 7-4. So the loser will fall to 7-5. At 7-5, the loser of that game will be tied for the wild card lead with the winner of my matchup. Trevor, Kelly, and I are both 6-5. So whoever wins our matchup will be 7-5, and will be tied for the wild card. So who gets the wild card if there's a tie? Well, tiebreaker, of course, is head-to-head record. So let's see who beat who between these 4 possible wild card teams. Jameson beat Trevor in the regular season, and Ryan beat Trevor during the regular season. So Trevor, I'm really sorry. I know you were posting some stuff on Facebook earlier today. I think you thought you had a chance. You don't. You are out. You cannot make the playoffs. Even if we didn't have the head-to-head tiebreaker, you've been outscored by Jameson and Ryan by between 100 and 200 points. So either way, you can't blame it on the tiebreaker. They would win regardless. So you are out. You're still going to play me, but you can't win unless Ryan and Jameson tie. No, you'd still be half a game back. So Trevor, you are out. Sorry, man, you cannot win. Look at the bright side. At least you didn't get the Trevor Kelly Memorial Award again this year for like the 8th pool in a row. So Trevor is out. Let's see who else would hold tiebreakers. I beat Ryan in the regular season, and I also beat Jameson in the regular season. So, looky here. If I win my matchup, I win the tiebreaker, and I will be the number 4 seed, and I will play against whoever wins that Ryan and Jameson matchup. So, looks like the regular season matchups are really, really, really important. I beat both the teams I'm hoping to catch, so that was clutch. So, the only way that I don't make the playoffs is, of course, if I lose, or if Ryan and Jameson somehow tie. Then they would both be 7-4-1. I would be 7-5. So they would still both be half a game in front of me. And of course, if that happens, Ryan wins the division. Jameson will be the wild card. So that would suck if that did happen. There haven't been any ties this year at all. So that would be crazy if the first tie of the year was in the biggest matchup of the year. So those are all the possible scenarios. Guys, if I really wanted to, I could, since all I need to do is win, I could play against Omar, guarantee myself a win. I could play against Robert, who is benching his entire team pretty much, guarantee myself a win in a playoff spot. But I'm not going to do that. I can see the uproar that would cause. So I'm not going to do that. I can't play Robert because he's already clinched the division anyways. Plus he's benching his whole team like I just said. I can't play Ryan and Trevor, who I'm chasing, because their matchup against themselves is way more important since they are playing for the number 1 seed and the division crown. So really, I try to make it as fair as possible, and I pitted myself against Trevor, who has the exact same record as me, even though he scored 100 points less and is eliminated from any wildcard tie-breaking scenarios. I thought that would be the most fair match because the exact same record as me. He's in the same division. And if it wasn't for the tiebreakers, he'd also be fighting for a wildcard spot. So if I beat Trevor, I'm going to make the playoffs. I'll be the 4 seed. and I will play against the winner of the Ryan Jameson matchup. So to recap, the 1 seed will be either the winner of the Ryan Jameson matchup. The loser of that matchup won't even make the playoffs likely. I guess they will if I lose. I didn't even go over that scenario, guys. A little foggy here. If I lose, then both those guys get in. Because even if Trevor beats me, they would have him covered. So if I lose, they both get in. So it's possible. But again, recap. Ryan Jameson, winner 1 seed, loser unlikely out of the playoffs. The winner of that game will host likely me, and Robert will host Kyle. Remember, each playoff week is 2 weeks long, and money goes to the top 3 finishers. Good luck, everyone. Thank you for playing. Omar, see you in a couple years. Emilio, if you're watching this, which you probably are because you subscribe to all my videos, because I'm your only friend, welcome back to the league.